For newer players, dealing damage into the later planets of the star chart, and especially into the Steel Path, can be quite difficult, all while experienced players claim Steel Path is easy while they sit there and do a level cap mission. And I agree, Steel Path and level cap can be easy, but you need to understand how damage works and how things can synergize to make it so easy. If you don't know these things, it can be quite difficult. This build, if you can call it that, is simply a product of understanding these synergies and how they interact. By adding a single mod to an entire build, you can quite easily do Steel Path. There is the caveat that you do need to have a rank 0 melee influence, but that's all you need. Really. This build works because of an interaction with melee influence and Zephyr. When an enemy is affected by melee electricity status, it has a 20% chance to deal the damage of the weapon to every enemy close by. Zephyr's fourth ability takes the status dealt to the tornadoes and applies it to every single enemy stuck inside them. What happens in reality is instead of one enemy proccing the arcane and spreading the damage to every enemy procs the arcane and spreads the damage to every enemy. In this example, because there are 4 enemies, each enemy gets hit with the initial status effect and then spreads that status effect to the other 3 enemies, meaning each enemy is getting hit by 4 status effects. Because every single enemy is damaging every single enemy, this means that the damage is scaling at x to the power of 2, where x is equal to the number of enemies and y is equal to the damage output. Having more enemies stuck in the cloud will result in more damage. Some brainiacs out there might be thinking of Nezha right now in his augment mod Divine Retribution, as it too spreads status effects to all enemies affected by the spears, but I'm sorry to report that this interaction does not work with Nezha, but there is some other cheese that you can do with him. You might be thinking to yourself right now, if this is so powerful, what will it look like with a fully built weapon? And so I've made this. The keen-eyed among you might see that I have corrosive on this weapon. For those of you wondering how I have both corrosive and electricity on this scythe, the corrosive is innate on the weapon. The corrosive will set me up perfectly to armor strip enemies with green shards, making the electricity dot that much stronger. Of note, you could also build with gas instead of corrosive, as gas is a secondary element that also does damage over time, or you could use something like the dual E-core in its Incarnon mode. Really of note in this build, apart from the corrosive, is the Bane mod, which will double dip the electricity dots, and this Riven. So let's take a look at this build without the armor strip. As you might imagine by now, adding armor stripping to this isn't actually going to do all that much, but we might as well anyway, just for the sake of it. You might have noticed there that the armor didn't actually strip on the enemies, and this has to do with the elemental stat weighting of corrosive versus electricity. Because I have considerably more electricity on the weapon than corrosive, electricity will proc considerably more than corrosive. Now, this isn't actually an issue to me, as if I would encounter an enemy that does take armor stripping to kill, I probably would have attacked enough that the corrosive would apply and then armor strip the enemies. So let's see what it looks like in Steel Path.
Your weapons make music, and the enemy calls for a song.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
They cut me down.
The Outlander has just made their first discovery. Keep up the good work. When you are ready, go to extraction.
Thanks for watching and have a great day.